In Georgia, Democrats had their biggest overperformance in a special congressional race this entire election cycle in the most conservative district in the state. Last night, Democrat Shawn Harris slashed 25 points off President Trump's 2024 margin in Georgia's 14th district in the special election to fill Marjorie Taylor Greene's vacancy, giving us just yet another snapshot pointing to a nationwide shift towards Democrats happening right now, just ahead of the midterms. Joining me now is Shawn Harris. It's great to see you. Thank you for being with us. The last time I talked with you, it was a couple weeks ago. You were moving forward in the runoff. I know we've watched a lot of your media appearances in the final days of the campaign. I know a lot of them, you talked about the war in Iran. You're an Army veteran, as people watching should know. And this is an issue you talked about as one that intersects with affordability. And that's part of the concerns you've raised in the campaign trail. How much of a factor do you think how you've talked about this war was in your massive overperformance in the district?
Well, you know, I would tell you everything that has happened around the world affects the rural community more than anywhere else. And the reality of it is last night was nothing more than the people in Northwest Georgia saying, you know what, enough is enough. And this thing that actually happened last night with the overperformance is part of it is that I speak to just common sense everyday issues. And those common sense everyday issues is gas prices, diesel prices, and fertilizer. These are things that are affecting the people in our district every day, and you can't hide from it. So the reality of it is people say, hey, Shawn, you're talking about the things that we are talking about. And my opponent, he got lucky last night, but we'll see him again in November.
I want to ask you about that. I want to ask you about one other aspect that stuck out to one of our very smart producers, Roe, which is that your performance in Whitfield County in the city of Dalton, that's a big, yes, for people out there watching, it's a big hub for Hispanic and Latino voters. And you had an even bigger overperformance there than in the rest of the district, even at a precinct level. What did you see specifically among Latino voters that motivated them to turn out for you?
Well, you know, since we ran against Marjorie Taylor Greene, I have been crisscrossing this district, 157 miles one way. And everywhere I go, I make sure that every Hispanic community, I go personally and talk to them. And one of the things, and when I say talk to them, also listen. Because one of the things I was told on the campaign trail is always say, Shawn, I see you. And every time I go to Dalton, no matter what the subject, I make sure that I go to that community, listen to them. And at the end of the day, you know, the immigration thing is big. But on top of that, when you start talking about Dalton, Rome, all the way down to the Gulf Coast, it is PFAS. And every community up there has been asking me to focus in on it. When I get to D.C., get somebody held accountable, get our land cleaned back up, our water cleaned back up, and then also improve our health care because cancer is running rapid throughout Dalton and throughout Rome, Georgia.
You already alluded to this. I know you seem excited to be back on the campaign trail. You're the only Democrat in the race. There's another race coming up in November. You way overperformed. So what's next? How are you going to approach this next part of the race? You're going to run the same kind of race? Anything you're going to change? What should we be watching out for?
Yeah, what we plan to do, actually, tomorrow we're doing an AAR, after action review. So we look at everything. That's one of my experience being in the military for 40 years, retired brigadier general. We go back and we look and see what worked and then what we need to actually improve. The key thing is our message is clear. We're going to stick with our message. What we have to work on right now is reaching the voters and having the turnout. The numbers are here in this district. It's not with just Democrats alone. I still got to get Democrats, independents, and yes, I have to get Republicans. And in this particular race that we just had last night, we got that. We just got to do more of it. So we'll continue to get better. You know, here in a ruby red district like this one, like you said, this is the reddest district in Georgia. When I decided to run, I knew it wasn't going to be easy because most people don't know this. The only reason I'm in this race is because Republicans came right here to my farm and recruited me to run. And I actually had to tell them, guys, I'm not a Republican. I'm a Democrat. But those same Republicans that recruited me, they actually still supporting me today. So we have a very good program. We're talking to everybody. We're excited, but not only am I excited, our voters are excited, and they see what winning looks like. And if you look at anything that happened last night, nobody had their head down. We know what we got to do. November's coming, and we're going to win this thing, and we're going to shock the world.
Shawn Harris, love the energy. Thank you again for joining us. We have to take a quick break. You're going to hear much more about that big night for Democrats coming up on The Last Word next.